What is today, Wednesday? Hello, Wednesday. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hot Topics at 10 a.m. We're pretty close to on time, considering the night that we had. We had a night last night, y'all. I got to tell you, if you haven't come to one of these live shows, wow, it was amazing. Hey, team, can you drop on? Can you hop in?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
What did you guys think of last night?
That was
So fun.
fantastic.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, the legends were there.
Mm-hmm.
The lemon heads were there. People were in their merch. The lemon stands were there. The Jennifer Welch I've had it stands were there. The Scaramucci stands were there. The Jay Jordan stands were there. Some of it, let's show you a little bit last night as we get ready this morning. By the way, hit the thumbs up if you're here. But hi, Jennifer Griffin was there. Awesome. Jen, did you love it or what? Keisha was there. Who else was there sitting right next to on my right? What was her name? She was there. She's a legend. Why can't I think of her name? Sitting right to my right. So that was us last night. That was me, Scaramucci, Jen, and Jay on stage. And it was unfiltered. Don Lemon, Jennifer Welch, Anthony Scaramucci. Really, really great time. By the way, I hope you love the new show. Remember, I told you guys I couldn't wait to get this. Well, I got it, and here it is. Came in yesterday evening. It was fantastic. So I hope you guys. That was me and Jay Jordan backstage. I think was this preparing to go on, and that was us preparing to go on, talking about what we're going to do in the green room. Look how messy the table is. And I have all my junk back there in Jen's bag or whatever. But that's us in the green room last night, getting ready to go. I was out front. Someone says, who is that? Put up the folks who are saying they're out front. I'm getting that Don Lemon shirt. Thank you. Just go to donlemon.com and get the merch. Look, a sold out crowd. Sold out. Waitlisted. You guys were great. And then I was overwhelmed because I did the show a little bit different. We started the show a little bit different than I normally do, because I do this whole thing about, CNN and then whatever. And I was like, you know what? Why am I doing that? I don't even think about CNN. So this is walking out. Can you back that up? I want to hear this. This is amazing. And then it's weird because I'm like, am I doing the Trump dance right there? All right, start from the beginning, Andy, to show them. It looks very Trump dance. So much fun. And I want to thank Faye for the black jacket, because that was a black jacket that I threw into the crowd. Was that the first show or the second show? I think it may have been the first show. And someone took it. So I need the blue one if you have it. Someone, whoever has the blue jacket, please, please, please return it. But anyways, really, really great time. What'd you guys like? What was your favorite part last night, Nikki?
Oh God, putting me on the spot. I really enjoyed all the meme talk. Yeah, that
The
one.
bubba of it all.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was great.
The what?
The Bubba of it all.
Oh my gosh. Jen is obsessed with Bubba and the BJs. And Jay just has a funny line or thought or moment or everything. It's oatmeal, everyone. I'll tell you what it is. It's oatmeal, chia seeds, apple slices, nuts, and blueberries. Yeah, that's what it is. What's this nut? It's not walnut. What do you call this little nut? I don't know if you can see. You can't see it. And blueberries with honey. And Tim makes it for me every morning, along with my tea. Isn't he sweet? Yeah. Don, stop trying to be a stripper. I did not strip last night. I did last time. And what did you guys tell me?
I told you the second I walked in, I said, do not throw your clothes into the crowd. I was ready. I was ready. Andy saw me. I was ready to leap out of the chair and go grab it from whoever took it.
But I did change backstage. Did you see that from the opening monologue? I changed into put the big picture of us out front up, and I changed into my Don Lemon live new sweatshirt, hoodie. which is fabulous. So anyways, thank you guys. We'll have more stuff a little bit later on, and that we'll show you moments from the show. Okay. So I'm glad you're here. I'm still battling this cold, and but still here for you. And this morning, I decided to give you some, instead of the white lights, I decided to give you the colored lights. So that's why I grew up with colored lights. Remember the big, giant colored lights? I grew up with those. And so I like, can't really see it when I do that because it's an autofocus. I like the colored lights. The white lights are beautiful, but, oh, I didn't have my wreath in the window on. Anyways, so there you go. Lemon Nation, thank you guys so much. We got such great feedback last night. I really appreciate this community that we're building. It's very important, and it really helps people through these really tremendous times. Right, Barkley? My baby's right here. Come here, baby. Just staring at me. Yeah, say hi. Just say hi for a second. Okay, say hi for a second. Hi, say hi. I know what you want. You want to lick my yogurt bowl, and you want me to leave you a banana and a blueberry, right? Yeah, that's what you want. Okay. All right, you got to get down now. Okay, Daddy's got to do the show. I'll give you the bowl after the show. Okay. Thanks for joining. Good morning, everybody. Let me know where you are streaming from, where you're watching us from. Okay, I love you. All right. Okay, so this morning I need to tell you that something is happening in American politics that Donald Trump never thought that he would see again. He never thought he would see it ever. Donald Trump is losing his grip. He's losing, as we say, his aura. You know, that like strange, intoxicating spell that he had over his followers for almost a decade. Not quite gone yet, but losing it. And he can feel it. And it's probably something really strange for him. He's like, you mean I can no longer just lie to these people and they'll believe? Yeah, you can still do it to some folks. And even if the other folks want to believe you, they can smell like where this is going. Yeah, politically savvy. And you know, Jen Welch said something last night that I completely agree with. And her assessment is that Marjorie Taylor Greene is smarter than we thought, at least politically smarter than we thought. And perhaps it's because of who she's taking lessons or getting advice from, who's counseling her. And that is Steve Bannon. So Steve Bannon, I believe, is giving her the new playbook, or she learned something from Steve Bannon's old playbook and Donald Trump's old playbook. So you can feel it, you can see it, you can hear it in the voices of the very people who used to defend him, like their lives depended on it. Nope. The truth is that Donald Trump just got humiliated this week. Humiliated, not inconvenienced. He didn't just get challenged. Donald Trump got humiliated. And as we say, you know, in the vernacular, he got rolled. He got punked, steamrolled, flattened by the House, by the Senate, and the smell of the rain that he used to walk around with, like a cheap cologne, is fading fast. It's kind of like watching a king suddenly realize that the robe he's wearing isn't silk, that it's polyester, or that the emperor is not wearing any clothes at all. Everybody around him can really smell the difference, so they know exactly, right? Tell me about it. Kay Alexander, you know. He got rolled, and I love it, says Auntie Deb. Auntie Deb. So make no mistake about it. He saw this coming. He tried to pretend that he didn't. He tried to act like, oh, I just shifted positions on the Epstein files because, you know, he listens to the people. But yeah, he's listening to something. He shifted because he knew that he was about to get beaten, and he had no way to stop it. He knew he was about to get rolled. As my producer Peter says, trolls get rolled, and this one troll is getting rolled. It got rolled twice yesterday. Actually, I think he got rolled 3 times because the people at the press conference rolled him, talked shit about him. Then the House voted to release the files, rolled. And then the Senate, this very same day, we thought the Senate was going to like slow walk it. Senate said, nope, we're doing this shit right now. And Donald Trump once again got rolled in 3 times in one day, thrice. Not once, not twice, but thrice. So let's call it what it is. Trump flipped on the files because he was staring down the barrel of a public humiliation. The House was going to pass it. The Senate was going to pass it. Republicans were going to defy him. And the MAGA world was going to have to confront something that they haven't had to confront since 2015, that their king is mortal, that he bleeds, that he can be beaten, that he can be embarrassed. Oh, and the worst of all for him, that he can be overruled. Woo! Do you know how terrifying that is for him? That terrifies him. For years now, Donald Trump has ruled over the Republican Party. And I mean, it's been a decade, guys. His reign has been 10 years, if you want to call it that. Can you believe that we've been dealing with this shit for 10 years? For years, he has ruled over his party and the MAGA universe through fear. And the politicians, fear of his tweets, fear of his base, fear of his tantrums, fear that if you crossed him, that he's going to make you pay. You were going to get shunned by the party, primaried, pushed out of office, threatened. That was the whole playbook. Right, Barkley? Shh. Quiet. That was the whole playbook. Not strategy, not intellect, it was just fear. But see, that kind of thing, that power is never real power. It's borrowed fear. And you know what I say? It's not real, because who's going to respect Donald Trump after this? Who's going to stand up and applaud him? Even George W. Bush, right? People applaud him and they respect him. Now, who's going to, after Donald Trump's antics in the way, you may still have some, these like crazy racist, MAGA brain dumbasses, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, Trump. But for the most part, Donald Trump will not get a reception like Barack Obama. He will not get standing ovations where he goes, unless he will at Mar-a-Lago. But he's not going to walk into Yankee Stadium or into Madison Square Garden and people like stand up and give him a standing ovation and all cheers. It's never going to happen. No, there'll be some people who will do it, but there'll be a lot of boos always. So he will not get universal yay, even like Joe Biden. So that shit is never real. When you fear, you respect people because you respect them. People didn't fear. There's a difference between fearing someone and respecting them. People didn't fear Barack Obama. They respected Barack Obama, and they still respect Barack Obama. They're not afraid of him. And so you don't applaud people you fear when they're no longer in power. So this week, the fear broke. Not bent, broke. And that break is going to echo through the entire MAGA universe. Mark my words. So you can see it on the faces of the people who used to praise him like he was the second coming. Suddenly they're a bit confused, and their praise is like a little, well, instead of like criticizing him now, the faithful, they will, in this strange universe of a world that we work in, that we live in, they're going to try to figure how they are going to, rejigger. That's what they're going to try to figure out. And so instead of criticizing Donald Trump right now, because eventually they will get to a point where they have to do it in order to survive, to stay in office, they criticize the Democrats. So they'll say that this is all orchestrated by the Democrats. And they can't really 100% defend him, except for Mike Johnson, who's saying, well, the president has said he had nothing to do with it. But they don't know for sure. And especially someone like Jim Jordan, when you're involved in the type of, scandal for Jim Jordan, go look it up with the college wrestlers and all of that. It's hard to try to defend someone with this allegations. It's hard to defend that. So you have to say, instead of saying, I don't believe the president did anything, blah, blah, blah. Nope, you can't even have people's heads go there. What you have to do is say, Democrats bad. So suddenly these people are confused. There's this, minuscule, just little bit of like, pushback. Suddenly there's people are hesitant. Suddenly they are whispering in rooms where nobody used to whisper his name at all, right? So instead of, in the green rooms, at the networks, the people who used to go, oh my God, this guy is a pain in the ass. I can't believe that he's a nominee. I can't believe he's a president, right? And then they get on, the cameras roll, and they're like, oh, he's the best thing. I love him. The MAGA movement. Oh. And you're like, what? Well, you didn't just say that before we started the show or came out of the commercial break. Like, what happened? So suddenly the movement looks like, it's sort of glancing around, waiting for someone else to speak. Who's going to be the next to rise? Perhaps the next to rise is me. So who's waiting for somebody to speak first? You ever see that? Do you want to go? Or maybe you want to go and you want to go. I'm always want to say, all right, look, I'll go. And then, I take the arrows or whatever, but they're looking around for something like that. And the loudest sign of Donald Trump's collapse, it didn't come from the Democrats, right? And this isn't a Democratic hoax or a Democrat hoax, as they say, grammatically correct. It didn't come from the media. It didn't come from his critics. It came from, who? It came from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Give me her soundbite yesterday, please, from the event. Let me know when you have it. It came from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that was the same Marjorie Taylor Greene who tied herself to Trump, like a barnacle, remember? She was a Donald Trump stan, like forever, yelling at Joe Biden, State of the Union, like just a Trump stan. Tied herself to him like a barnacle. And the same Marjorie Taylor Greene who used to defend him harder than his own lawyers would defend him. She turned on him in public. Loud, angry, and somewhat panicked, I believe. She turned on him in public. And this is Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday talking about, hey, look, because she said that she fought hard for him for years, and he called her a traitor, and she wasn't happy about it. But she spoke about it yesterday just before they voted to release the files. Here she is.
And that's what we did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the President of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people whom we serve as representatives here in Congress demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, but the real fight will happen after that.
So there you go. I mean, one of his most devoted disciples. And she wasn't done there. She also had this to say.
While I want to see every single name released so that these women don't have to live in fear and intimidation, which is something I've had a small taste of in just the past few days, just a small taste. They've been living it for years. But the real test will be, will the Department of Justice release the files? Or will it all remain tied up in investigations? Will the CIA release the files? Will a judge in New York release the information? That's information that needs to come out. And will the list of names that these women privately hold, and they hold it because of their fear in their heart of what would happen to them if they release it on their own, will that list of names come out? That's the real test. So I want to thank Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna for your bravery in doing something that is much needed in America, crossing the political aisle that has become bigger than the Grand Canyon in America. But these men crossed that aisle on behalf of these women. And that is more of what is needed today in America than ever in our history. So thank you so much. Who's next?
Okay, so here's the difference. Because I see your comments, and we talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene last night at this show, at the live City Winery show in New York. We talked about it last night. And this is a difference between Democrats and Republicans, or Democrats and MAGA, is that the folks will say, you know what, I'm watching her. I don't quite trust her right now, but she's, I hate to admit it, but she's right. Or I have to give her credit on this one because she's right. Now, they know that there's some sort of strategy behind it, right? Now, people aren't falling for that. But that's the difference. And Republicans wouldn't even take, if that happened to a Democrat, they wouldn't even allow it to happen. They would immediately call bullshit and not even give any credence. They wouldn't say that they're right. And this is right. It's BJ Jones says, we can have grace and still be cautious. Believe what you see, not what you hear, especially with these folks. 100%. It's BJ Jones. I've been saying the exact same thing. And so I do believe that people can change. And our discussion last night was, when you have someone who breaks away from the cult and they are on your side doing what you want them to do, you have to give them an off-ramp. Because then what is the point of it all? That doesn't mean that you have to forget everything that they did. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be suspicious. That doesn't mean you shouldn't handle them with a long handle spoon, like my mom said. See that one? You got to handle that with a long handle spoon. That's all I'm saying. Right? I don't trust her at all. I'm still not getting her way. Let her cook, LOL. Right. And that was the point that someone said last night. You have to take advantage of her. If she's using the Democrats, I think it was Jen or Tony, if she's using the Democrats, then the Democrats need to use her in this moment. And no one knows that better than Anthony Scaramucci, who, he got some of the progressives still don't forgive him for working for Donald Trump. But if you listen to what the man is saying now, he makes a lot of sense, and he knows the inside of the MAGA movement and Donald Trump. So again, you have to give people an off-ramp, because sometimes people can change when they realize, like, I've been played. And maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene realizes she's been played. More in a moment. Give me 2 minutes. Word from our sponsors, please. This episode is brought to you by Graza. I love this olive oil. It's fresh, it's single origin, and it has become my go-to holiday gift. Nobody needs more socks, okay? Everybody wants great olive oil. Everybody. Graza's olives are picked, pressed, and bottled in the same season. You can flip the bottle over and you can see the harvest date for yourself, and the gift sets make it easy. I love the dinner party pack. You get a limited edition bottle of wine, cooking oil, finishing oil, and a corkscrew, and those Evo potato chips, right? It's an instant party. I've already ordered a few. It's an entire vibe. So they also have the duo gift set with sizzle and drizzle and squeeze bottles or glass. They look great on the counter and make everything taste better. So right now you can get 20% off of your first order, 20%. I recommend the dinner party pack or the duo gift set and glass. So go to graza.co/Don. Use the code Don for 20% off. That's graza.co/Don and use the code Don for 20% off. Today's show is sponsored by MSI Reproductive Choices. They provide contraception, safe abortion, and essential health care in 36 countries, often in places where they are the only provider. And this year has been hard. Aid is shrinking, clinics are closing, but MSI is still standing because people like you refuse to look away. After the first Trump administration, they knew their funding could disappear, so they diversified. They still lost $20 million. But they kept showing up for women who have no other options because donors stepped up, because people believe healthcare is a human right. So if you want to help keep that going, here's how you do it. You can text LEMON to 511-511, or you can go to msiunitedstates.org. That's M as in modern, S as in safe, I as in informed. $65 provides contraception for 10 women for a full year. That is real impact. Text LEMON to 511-511 or go to msiunitedstates.org. Text fees may apply. So thank you to our sponsors. So let's look. I'm going to get through this because I need to talk to you about something also really important. The journalist that was killed, and they believe that. We'll discuss it. It's about Khashoggi. Jamal Khashoggi, and I want to talk to you about that in a little bit and have the perfect person to discuss. But let me just wrap this whole thing up because I have a bit more to say about what happened yesterday. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene is was Donald Trump's most devoted disciples. And when one of the most devoted disciples starts yelling at your congregation, something is really wrong in the church or in the temple. Or whatever it is. Marjorie isn't shouting because she's has that much power. She's that much power. That powerful. She's shouting because she feels the walls closing in. She knows what this vote means. And she knows that if Congress can defy Trump on this, on the most explosive scandal of his public life, then they can defy him on just about anything. She knows that the magic is fading, and she knows that the fear is evaporating here, and that this MAGA movement is drifting. And if you can't feel that, then you will. You'll feel it because it takes time for things to trickle down. But I've been doing this for a long time and watching this, and I've been wondering for a decade, really. In the beginning, I was like, well, is this real? Is this AstroTurf? Like, what is this MAGA thing? Is this like the new Tea Party? And then it's like, well, how long can this lie last? Because it was built on lies. How long they let this man go on and just say the most atrocious things, insult disabled reporters, all these things. That's why she is screaming. She can feel it. And the scream is being heard by the entire MAGA cult. They may not admit it out loud yet, but they feel it too. The thing that bound them together, that myth that Trump was unstoppable, untouchable, unbreakable, undefeatable, unwhateverable that you put out there. That myth is collapsing in real time right in front of their very eyes and our very eyes as well. And myths collapse really loudly. It starts slowly, but watch, mark my words. You can hear the crack in conservative media. They didn't even bother to show the press conference yesterday of those survivors. You can hear it in the hosts who used to defend him without hesitation. They're suddenly like hedging. A lot of them are still out there, because they're playing to the base, but they know. And Fox and conservative media have a lot of Republican strategists as anchors or whatever, a lot of folks like that. And they know behind the scenes. They may play a certain role on TV, but they know what's happening. And they're informing the people at their networks. And you can hear it in the influencers who used to shout, trust the plan, now asking, wait, what is the plan? This isn't what we voted for. You heard of all that. You can hear it in the silence when Trump tries to blame Democrats for a bill that Republicans overwhelmingly supported. When you look at his social media and he's blaming Democrats on all of this stuff and touting this, we have the best, hottest country and the big, beautiful, all of this. And people are like, wait a minute, I don't feel any of that. It's desperation. People are looking away and they're turning down the volume right now. They can tell that it's bullshit. And before I let this go, I want to talk about the approval numbers. Have you seen those? Put those up, Andy. He isn't just down. He isn't just slipping. He's tanking. Trump approval falls to lowest of his term over prices and Epstein files, Reuters Ipsos poll finds. He is tanking. According to Reuters Ipsos, his approval is now the lowest of his entire term, lower than the border surge, lower than, the crime spikes that he's, lower than the food and gas pressures, lower than the post-inauguration stumbles, all of that stuff. Then lower than what he's been doing for the last 6-8 months. And you know why? Because this scandal is different. This one hits in a place the American people understand in their bones: secrecy, exploitation, power protecting itself, crimes involving young people, one of the most prolific sex traffickers in the ever. And now he's having to answer questions that no leader wants attached to their name. And Donald Trump is attached to all of it. And so he is panicking right now. He is sitting in the Oval Office and he is answering questions about journalists and journalists' deaths, the death of a journalist, of a renowned journalist. And people are wondering, like, wait a minute, what is going on here? Why is he saying that perhaps that somehow this journalist had this coming to him? Because he's panicked and he doesn't know what to say. And he's acting in very strange and odd ways and saying things that are the most unbelievable, embarrassing things. I want to get now to Karen Attiah, who is here. Karen, thank you for joining us to help us with this story. She's a journalist and the author of the Golden Hour Substack. Karen, when you heard Donald Trump make those remarks, what did you think?
I'm trying to think of what can I say that won't put me on even more government watch lists. I don't have anything to say about what an absolute cretin of a man and of a human being. It was 7 years ago, almost to this week, that the CIA determined that Mohammed bin Salman orchestrated the mission, approved of killing Jamal. Yes, the prince denies all of this, but it was November 16th, 2018, when the CIA determined that. And if folks remember, Trump was president, obviously, at the time. He went against his own intelligence agencies to shield Mohammed bin Salman. Bob Woodward, in his book in 2020, Rage, he detailed how Trump said, quote, "I saved his ass," talking about Mohammed bin Salman, shielding him from congressional scrutiny, right? To smear a dead man, to smear, someone who, and I worked with Jamal personally. I hired him, I recruited him to not have the basic decency and situational awareness to, like Ta-Nehisi Coates says, with silence not an option.
Right.
Like, my first reaction was, keep Jamal's name out of your effing mouth, was my first reaction, right? And it was, and you said it so well, like, it seems like this man is Trump crumbling, forget it, or not caring who's, in the room. The idea that even Mohammed bin Salman, far be it for me to want to give that man any sort of praise, credit, whatever, the fact that Mohammed bin Salman almost gave a better answer, it was still far from the truth, but at least
Karen, let's listen to part of it. Let's listen to part of
Yeah.
it. Can we? Okay, here it is. This is.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans
Who are
trust
you
you?
with?
And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news, ABC fake news, one of the
But the
worst,
question is
one of the
legitimate,
worst
sir.
in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot.
What?
And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's just you ask, Mr. President,
please, go ahead.
if you allow me to answer. I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden, he used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation.
Karen.
I mean, the fact that, a couple of things, yes, let's talk a little bit about 9/11, right? Jamal Khashoggi's murder rocked the US-Saudi relationship PR machine in a way that we hadn't seen since 9/11. The fact that MBS in that clip was almost smirking at the camera when the topic of the pain of the 9/11 families was there was a sign of someone who's like, I don't care, I don't give a crap, right? And the idea also, the fact that we saw Trump going on about almost justifying what happened to Jamal, saying that he was controversial and a lot of people didn't like him. And then later in the clip, you'll see that Mohammed bin Salman says, hey, that was painful, it was a mistake, blah, 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 all still bullshit, right? But it was just lie after lie after lie. And I think this is piercing again in a way. For people who remember, Jamal Khashoggi was walking into a consulate in Istanbul. He was trying to get papers to get married. He'd been writing for us for a year, writing for me for a year. And he wasn't even a huge critic of Mohammed bin Salman. And he was disappeared from that consulate, allegedly chopped into pieces. To this day, we still don't know where his body is. And the fact that after 7 years, Trump hasn't figured out how to give a decent human answer just shows his plain disregard for A, human life, B, the way he responded to that ABC News reporter immediately attacking her, right? And it's just a reminder of the absolute sort of impunity. And it's not just about the message that this sends to us as voters, as people, as journalists. It's a scary message to journalists. It basically says all you need to do to get away with murder with America is be an ally, have about $1 trillion, and have Trump like you and wait 7 years. It's like this dark, magic, disgusting spell that, if you want to get away with murder, this is what you need to do, right? But I think for all of us, and I wrote about this in The Guardian, it represents this almost like the Saudification of America. Mm-hmm. Well, now we have a wannabe, I called him a Temu Pharaoh, right? Yeah. A wannabe Pharaoh with his baby prince that he's been shielding this whole time. And we're seeing, Don, you and I talked about this the last time I was here. We're seeing the fear of the media now, of Trump. We're seeing the fear of criticizing our leaders. This is what Jamal talked about, warned about, that he, even as editor, used to sit in meetings where they'd have red lines about what you could say and what you couldn't. And we're seeing this here and now in that spectrum from that Jamal went from, I think a lot of people don't know, and I'll say this on your show, Jamal was censored from writing in 2016, not because he criticized Mohammed bin Salman, but because he lightly criticized Donald Trump. They banned him from writing because he invoked Donald Trump and told the Saudis, told them to be careful of him. And for that, he wasn't killed, but he was silenced. And then 2 years later, he was actually killed, right? So it just goes to show this global web of authoritarianism that Jamal, working with Jamal, we never thought anything like this could happen to him in such a brutal way. We were just going about our jobs, right? But I think it's a reminder of how increasingly dangerous this world is for journalists, but under this web between Trump, their alliances with the oligarchs, the tech billionaires, the people who were at that dinner yesterday, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, that this cabal of thugs rule us right now. And we are so much less safe as human beings, as people who want to speak our minds and not be killed for it. It is a harder place to do that now than it was before. So I hope that people see what Trump and MBS were doing and take it as a warning sign. You think it's going to stop with Middle East journalists. Look at what they're doing to Black journalists in a different way. Look at what they decide to do to people who they don't want to speak anymore. So that's why I keep saying these issues are interconnected, always. And here I am, purged from the Washington Post for speaking my mind about violence and politics, right? The very same paper that Jamal was once proud to call home. And here I am writing in The Guardian, a foreign newspaper, instead of the Washington Post.
Isn't that amazing that you're writing for a foreign newspaper? But also a couple of things. I'm gonna highlight your reporting. But listen, this is what Karen Attiah is writing, an opinion in this about Saudi Arabia in The Guardian. The Saudification of America is underway. Jamal Khashoggi's plight and murder was a warning sign for the U.S. Of the impending loss of freedom and censorship that would sweep the country. Now, this is what I want to read. The first thing. This is the first time that I ever use Alhamdulillah, is which translates to praise to be God in Arabic. Praise be to God in Arabic was the night of 16th of November of 2018. A Friday night news alert came through on my phone. CIA concludes Saudi Crown Prince ordered Jamal Khashoggi's assassination. I collapsed into my couch, repeating the words. I am not Muslim, but Jamal, in life and death, has taught me a lot about faith and looking for hope in all the wrong places. As a writer with a history of criticizing America's meddling in weaker countries in normal circumstances, I would have been loath to celebrate the CIA. You were close to him. So what happened in the Oval Office yesterday really hit you hard. Tim Miller from the Bulwark also spoke out. I want you to listen to this and I'll get your response. Here it is.
Hey, y'all, I just landed in Nashville. I'm going to be interviewing Kamala Harris tonight, and it's just hard not to lament and think about how different things could be when I turn on my phone and see the news of this just disgusting display in the Oval Office of Donald Trump siding with a horrific authoritarian who has murdered journalists, wrote for American outlets, and James Khashoggi over the free press. If you haven't seen this video, let's just watch it really quick, and then I'll talk about it on the other side. I mean, look, that is so disgusting. I understand that presidents sometimes have to deal with foreign leaders that have gnarly human rights records and aren't, don't share all of our values. But to side with MBS, to, glaze his human rights record and talk about how great of leaders and how much they talk at night, and simultaneously to attack and malign and shit talk a reporter for doing their job in a country where we value the free press. It was the First Amendment, it's number one amendment. We're not Saudi Arabia. You don't get behanded if you do something that the Crown Prince doesn't like. And thinking about the contrast between how Trump treated Zelensky fighting for his freedom versus how he's treating this just tin pot Sharia law sand dictator is really dispiriting. I have to tell you, it's really dispiriting. And we should also mention on the corruption side of things, the money that MBS is still pouring into Jared Kushner is totally, black. It's a black box right now. I mean, like the coverage of this, there's a little bit of this happening in the New York Times, Ken Vogel and others, but like the corruption here is also the story. It is a total neglect of American values.
All right, so Thank you, Tim. And so that whole lie about, they're not making any money or whatever, we haven't done that many deals with them, that's all a lie. And he's right. You don't get behanded, but you get dejobbed here if you speak the truth. And so what do you say? And I love what you wrote in The Guardian. And then you're also writing it. Put up her Substack. This is Karen's Substack right here. The Golden Hour by Karen Attiah. Jamal Khashoggi will haunt Mohammed bin Salman forever. But go on, your response, Karen.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jamal's, a lot of people who try to carry water for the Saudis would be like, this moralizing about human rights. And we just have to accept that US-Saudi relationship is going to prevail. And the thing about this is, what does any of this benefit average Americans, right? These are deals that are going to the Kushners. These are deals that are going to the elites. Again, this whole like America first, the idea that Trump could also sit and let Mohammed bin Salman, like not even respond to the 9/11.
He wasn't even going to let him talk. He was like making excuses like, oh, let me just, and then MBS said, well, let me jump in and answer that. I was like, why is he, standing, why is he sitting there protecting him as if he's some delicate flower? And then you embarrass our guest. How is asking someone a legitimate question embarrassing a guest?
Yeah, exactly. And what I just wrote in the Golden Hour in the Substack is like, Mohammed bin Salman, all of these people, all of these cretins, all of these thugs deserve to be not only embarrassed, they deserve all the smoke. He deserves to be haunted by Jamal. The fact that all of us who remember what happened, who remember the play-by-play, not only the killing, but we watched as they attempted to cover it up. I still remember seeing those images of people going into that consulate with bleach, ostensibly to go clean up blood, right? We remember how they tried to use a body double. They put Jamal's clothes on someone else and filmed them walking out of the consulate. It was a 15-member operation. This was not something that could have happened without the knowledge of the highest levels of the Saudi government. They are playing in our faces. And I think part of it, it's disgusting, but it's also like they think we're stupid. They think we don't remember. And as long as we remember, we are the collective ghost of Khashoggi. As long as we keep asking them and saying, we remember what you did to this man, because what that, not just the one man, but what that represented, I would argue, set the stage for impunity for what we're seeing in Gaza with the killings of journalists, the impunity there. We're seeing rises in attacks against journalists all around the world in countries that were ranked previously as partially free and okay for journalists. As long as we remember, we are the ones who will haunt them, not just embarrass them, haunt them. Mohammed bin Salman fidgeting with his hands like a school child in the principal's office, right? It just speaks to how cowardly these men are. How cowardly, which is why they have to use force, which is why they can't argue, they can't win on the merits of their own inspiration, power. They have to use force and mirages and lies
and terror. Karen, keep up the great work. Thank you so much for appearing. It's so good to see you. You're looking well. How are you? You doing okay?
So many battles. Anyone who follows me sees that I'm training martial arts, and speaking of, I'm training with my own swords. I'm doing okay. I'm still fighting the fight against the Washington Post of all places. So all of these battles for us, you and I, to be able to speak, whether it's Jamal, whether it's you, whether it's me, anyone, I guess, I've accepted my role being on the front lines of all this. It helps to have a fluffy cat, though.
And it helps me to have a fluffy dog. And it's going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Trust. I trust. And I feel it's turn. Watch. You wait and see.
We'll be fine. We'll prevail.
Thank you, Karen Attiah. I appreciate it.
Bye.
you. Thank you. Check out her Substack and check out her writing in The Guardian and wherever she's going to be doing lots of freelancing. Karen is going to be okay, but keep her in your thoughts, keep her in your prayers, all of us, and please support independent, not just necessarily independent media, but independent journalism, okay? Because we need it in this time. A word from our sponsors. Support for the show comes from Ollie. You know how much I love my little doggies, my poochies. And like any dog parent, I want them healthy, happy, and around for a very long time. And that's why I switched them to Ollie. It's fresh, it's real, human-grade ingredients, 5 great recipes, slow cooked. Even my picky one went crazy for it. Boomer, I'm talking about you. Ollie delivers clean meals backed by vet nutritionists. You take a quick 30-second quiz and they build a plan just for your dog. And the Ollie app is clutch, everyone. You can talk with real experts anytime. So my dogs have more energy, shinier coats, and they look at me like, finally, Dad figured it out. There's one looking at me right now. Your dog's well-being starts with their food. So head over to ollie.com/lemon and tell them about your dog and use the code LEMON to get 60% off of your welcome kit. And they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box. If you are not satisfied, you're going to get your money back. So that's ollie.com/lemon and use the code LEMON for 60% off. Right, Barkley? Right. Bye. Support comes from Beam. Beam Cyber Sale is live right now for my listeners, and it is their best offer of the year. You can get up to 50% off, and with my code LEMON, you can grab Dream for just $32.50. That is about $1 a night for great sleep. So if you watch the show, you know I take sleep very seriously. And when I'm tired, I'm foggy, and I'm cranky, and I'm not as good. Dream Powder changed that for me. I use it almost every night. It is made with ingredients like reishi, magnesium L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. It helps you fall asleep fast and wake up clear, no grogginess. And it tastes great. My favorite flavor, whatever one I'm using that night. They're all smooth and easy. So Beam has improved over 18 million nights of sleep. So if you have been waiting to try it, this is your time. Go to shopbeam.com/lemon and use the code LEMON. Dream is only $32.50 until it sells out. So go to shopbeam.com/lemon and use the code LEMON. Okay? It's going to sell out, so go now. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Someone said, where's Boomer? Where did Boomer go? He was in here. Barkley is back here. Gus is up. There's Boomer. You see him behind the door. Hi, Boomer. Look, this is his smile. I don't know if you can see that's when he smiles. Hi, baby. And that's Barkley. Barkley's jelly. You can't have. Anyways, back to the program, and then I'll tell you about what else is going on. So look, Donald Trump is desperate right now. Okay, and what do desperate men do? They panic, they lash out, they try to shift the blame, they try to spin humiliation into a victory, they try to pretend the thing that they fought in the shadows is a thing that he always wanted in the light. He fought against it in the shadows, and now he's trying to pretend, oh, this is what I really wanted. It's too late now. The damage is already done, guys. The House defied him, the Senate defied him, his own base is confused, his own warriors are shrinking, loudest soldier screaming into the void right now, into a void. So, and Donald Trump looks like a man watching what he built. And he thinks he's a king. I'll say castle that he built out of intimidation and bravado. It's a sandcastle. It's finally washing away when the tide rises. When the tide rose, and it's rising even higher. And it's just washing away. And the deeper truth is that I said, Donald Trump is, I almost on the thumbnail said, is Donald Trump losing his mojo or just losing his mojo ? I don't know. Maybe that's 5 o'clock. Because he kind of has some kind of swagger, but that's gone. The dominance is gone. The sharp edge that used to make people tremble, dull right now. Some people still do fear him. He does not scare his party for the most part anymore. He doesn't control the narrative. He does not own the moment. He's reacting. He is guessing. He is scrambling. He is drowning in a scandal that he cannot spin away from. Because if you think about it, like what's in those files, I mean, there could be some damaging things in the files. But the fact that he wanted to protect a pedophile, or perhaps plural, that is enough in itself right there, the way he conducted himself. So his cult knows that, because that's their issue. You know, oh, Hillary Clinton and the pizza skin in the basement, and there's this ring for young people that they're trafficking. The cult feels it, the Congress feel it, the public feels it, his advisors feel it, and even Donald Trump feels it. So he's a strong man now looking weak. And when that happens, the myth starts to die. It dies. The loyalty starts to fade. The spell breaks. The cult begins to wander. So everyone, I want you to know that this moment is bigger than the Epstein files. It's the first real crack in the foundation of Donald Trump's power. It's the moment that his aura of dominance snaps. And when that is gone, it rarely does come back. So the king is not going to fall because the king is punched. The king is going to fall because people stop pretending that that this person is a king. And that's what we're witnessing right now. I believe this is the beginning of the end of the Trump era. It's full of noise, it's full of chaos, it's full of outrage, but underneath all of that, there is something new happening that even Donald Trump can't control, something MAGA can sense. But they don't want to quite admit it right now. I'm telling you, whereas I should have that shirt, old people be knowing, trust. The fear is fading. And for a man or a person who has built everything on fear and attacking and antagonizing, but especially on fear, nothing is more humiliating than that. Trust. Old people be knowing. And so there may still be some victories ahead for Donald Trump. I'm not saying he's going to be driven from office right now. It depends on what's in those files, if anything. Let's just say if something is in those files, then done. Even if there's nothing in the files, let me just tell you, the fact that he handled it the way that he handled it, and that he's mentioned in those files, his behavior with Jeffrey Epstein and others, that should be enough right there in normal times and even not so normal times. And he knows it and they know it. And old people be knowing it too. I'm just saying. If you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, I think that's it. Because yesterday I got stuck with some breaking news. Oh, we've got some fans and stuff. People wore their merch last night. And so we had this great show. Did we get anything from the social guys yet? Nothing?
Not from them, but Nikki has some photos from Lemonheads. Some merch photos.
Let's see. These are the folks in their merch from last night, guys. You missed it. You got to come to Philly on the 8th. Oh, what is her name? Rose. Rose had a bag full of merch. She came up on the stage as soon as I was done. She had fans, she has t-shirts, she had sweatshirts, and that. So thank you, Rose, for your support. There's Jen, and this person was a huge Jen. I've had it. Stan had her book, had her t-shirt, and her hat. And who's that? Who took the picture? Kankles McTaco Tits.
I think Rose took these photos. I'm not sure.
Rose took the photos as well. Yeah. Okay. Who else do we have?
This is more from Rose.
That's Rose's stuff. Rose is the one. Tim is like, last night she goes, some lady just came in and cleaned us out. And there's Rose. Thank you, Rose, and be blessed. Yes.
Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. I love the socks. I love the fan. Amazing. Don Lemon's biggest fan, and the socks. Who's this? Oh, who's this gorgeous creature?
This is still Sandra.
Oh,
she sent
Sandra.
quite a few. She was at the show also. I believe this is Lemon Legends, Sandra. And that's Jennifer, right?
And that's Jennifer Griffin with Sandra last night at the thing. Yep. Great. Look at that back balcony filled to the rafters. Say, Sandra, thank you. Who else?
More Sandra.
More Sandra. So we got a lot of Sandra. Thank you. So that's Sandra and Tim. And then there's Sandra. And oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name? She's a legend on the right. That's not, is that Andrea?
Wendy?
It's Wendy. That's Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Okay, who else?
Last one from Sandra.
Sandra. Thank you, Sandra. All right. Is that it?
This is Deborah.
Hi, Deborah from
Unknown.
Unknown. Hi, Deborah from Unknown. Thank you. You look amazing and ready for the winter. And
that's all of the merch photos.
All right. And so if you want the merch, go to donlemon.com, and then there is a button right there that says merch, and you can click on it. I'm so happy to have this. I'm going to wear it everywhere. This is my new thing. Isn't it great? That long sleeve, good enough where you're not burning up in the house, and you can wear it under, layer it, whatever. I also have beanies. The beanies are amazing. I'll wear one of those maybe later today. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Please become a member, subscribe. We're getting really close, guys. Ooh, to a big milestone. You have to make sure that you have a subscription. Okay? So go to donlemon.com and then hit the YouTube button, that arrow, and then you can subscribe and you can become a member. So thank you for supporting. Thank you for supporting independent journalists and independent media. Thank you for showing up last night. Thank you for helping to make this community an amazing place. Thank you. I keep trying to undo things and I keep screwing it up. So I appreciate it. Okay. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to be, and that's everything, right? Am I done, guys? No breaking news that I don't know about because I'm sitting here?
Not that I know of.
Okay. There's a tree. I love when it does that. It's weird how it does that because you can see the colors very clearly in person. They look more like that in person. Okay. Be informed without being inundated until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Don Lemon Show and the Don Lemon channel. This is what I want you to do. Turn the TV off. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.